please seek out your own professionals, never break the law, and always seek advice from your own doctor. And I am not your doctor. Coach Greg, in today's video, we're going over Jeremy Buendia's post-cycle therapy. Many of you are aware that Jeremy competed in men's physique, and obviously he's not natural. He's very open, honest, and transparent, and he's going to tell us exactly what he's taking. And so very happy to see that. It gives us the opportunity to examine what exactly are his protocols so that we can all learn from him.
Don't take anything I'm saying directly from here. Go out and do your own homework. Go see a specialist. Go see a doctor. I push my body to its limits. And being a professional bodybuilder, PEDs are something that we have to take in order to compete with the best.
And so unlike what Mike Israetel says, I am in fact not a doctor. And so remember, I'm only giving you my best possible advice. I'm not a doctor. Never break the law. Jeremy Buendia is listening to Transcend. And so if you're not educated on this, please do your own research, get your own doctor, and never break the law.
I got my blood work done. Everything looked pretty damn good, especially after Olympia. All my markers were on point, except for my liver enzymes, which were elevated.
And so following the Olympia, he had his blood work taken, and it noticed that his liver enzymes were highly elevated. For example, AST and ALT, those would be elevated most likely from the orals he was taking. Perhaps he was taking Anavar, Halotestin. When you take oral steroids, it has a marked effect on your liver. It's going to make your liver work harder than last time. And so this is normal. You have to stop taking the orals, let these things clear out the toxins. Your liver is going to get back to normal. At least you hope it will.
That's why it's really important for you guys to get your blood work done after your competitions to make sure your body's okay.
Other things like injectables, for example, if you're taking testosterone, tranmasterone, Primo, Deca, EQ, if you're taking these things, these can have an effect on your kidneys, also on your heart. They can increase your blood pressure. And so it's very important that you cycle off. Many times people think, I'm just going to continue the cycle. I'm going to just keep blasting. I want to get even more gains. I almost won the show. If I could just put on 10 more pounds for next year, I'm going to win. And so people, they forget to go off. It's very important to take breaks.
I always get my blood work done every 3 to 4 months to make sure that all my levels are on point.
And so Jeremy Buendia getting his blood work done every 3 or more months, this is very intelligent, a smart move. He's being proactive with his health. Highly encourage you out there, if you are taking performance enhancing drugs, even if you're not taking them, get your blood work to see if you're on point.
This is what I take in the morning when I wake up. So the first one is DHEA, pregnenolone.
And so while his PCT, one thing he's taking is DHEA. The reason for that is DHEA is a precursor to testosterone. And so what DHEA does is it converts primarily to estrogen, but also to testosterone. And this is going to allow you to feel better. And so great addition. And pregnenolone, what this can help do is it's going to allow him to have a better quality night of sleep. I would in fact encourage him to take this in the evening. However, many people take this in the morning. Do what works best for you.
This next one is a liver support supplement. I mentioned to you guys that my liver enzymes were slightly elevated after Olympia.
And the next thing he's taking is something for his liver support in general, because after all, his liver was being damaged, it was hurting. And so obviously I'd suggest you could take my own liver support from HGLT, or of course NAC. Many of you know just how beneficial these are. And interested in these, click the link in the description, code Greg, 10% off.
I'm going to talk about glutathione. So this is a super antioxidant.
Next up, he's taking glutathione. This can definitely work. After all, when you're taking orals, it can deplete your body's levels of glutathione. That makes sense. However, it's very expensive and you have to inject it. But what he may want to consider is to add in NAC, as this can do the same thing, increases glutathione in the body, and it's available orally, it's cheaper, and so interested in this, code Greg 10% off, click the link in the description.
You guys, this is NAD, so it's a coenzyme present in almost all cells in your body. Its main purpose is to fuel your metabolic reactions forward, kind of like gas in your car.
And so here's the thing, if you get NAD from an IV infusion exactly when you go into a clinic, it's made immediately, and so it's very active. It's great. And so I would highly recommend that. However, when it gets packaged into a vial, shipped across the country, perhaps used weeks later, it's not going to have nearly the same potency. And so an alternative to all of this, NMN, which is in fact in GO2 Max. And so why not get the cheaper alternative that's available in oral form? NMN GO2 Max, increased endurance, recovery, more energy. Why not just get it in oral form? And so if you're interested in that, again, of course, code Greg 10% off. Click the link in the description. And so remember, the advantages of taking pill versus injectable, you don't have to store it in your fridge. You don't have to worry about its potency going down after months of use. Also, do you really want to swab your skin and have to poke a hole in it? Every time you poke a hole in your skin, you open up your chances of having an infection. If you do this thousands of times, chances are eventually something is going to go wrong. And so when given the opportunity to use something orally versus injectable form, I am certainly going for the oral.
Two products I'm taking right now are going to be HCG, human chorionic gonadotropin, and enclomiphene citrate.
And so PCT, to get his testosterone back to an order, as well as to become more fertile, he's taking both HCG and enclomiphene. And so, as you know, HCG, it increases the size of your ball sack, makes it bigger. Many people are taking this during a cycle so that they have the visual effects of having balls that are larger. But I always tell people, the smaller your nuts, the bigger your dick's gonna look.
So my dick looks even bigger than it did.
And so who cares? Why are you wasting money taking HCG throughout your cycle? I don't do it. I've never done it. I don't believe it's important. But following a cycle, what I've enjoyed doing in the past is I'll start taking HCG towards the end of my cycle. And so what you can do is add HCG to your cycle and then slowly taper off the HCG after the completion of your cycle. And in the meantime, you add in, for example, enclomiphene. Perhaps you don't have access to that. You're taking Clomid. And so the HCG is increasing testicular testosterone levels, while the enclomiphene is doing the same thing, but with the addition of increasing FSH. That's follicle stimulating hormone. And so the end result, you have more sperm production. You're then able to get someone pregnant.
So if you start to do a cycle, your testosterone will drop, but then you PCT and you bring yourself back up.
And so one thing, if you really want to get someone pregnant right away, what you can add in is recombinant FSH. And so essentially recombinant FSH is essentially FSH. HCG is essentially LH. And so essentially using performance enhancing drugs, maybe androgens, for example, you're lowering your LH and FSH. It's going down to rock bottom. And following the cycle, you're trying to bring up LH and FSH back up. And so by using these compounds, you're more quickly going back to baseline. If you don't do a PCT, a post-cycle therapy, it could take months and or years to return to baseline. And so this is speeding up the process, because think of it, the longer it takes you to get back to normal, the more muscle you're going to lose in the process. And so by adding these compounds, as Jeremy been doing, is doing intelligently so, he's allowing his body to return back to baseline, not losing a lot of muscle, and the next time he does a cycle, he can then prove even more than last time.
BPC 157 can be taken intramuscular through an injection or subcutaneously through an injection, or it can be taken orally.
And so BPC 157, you may have heard it's the Wolverine peptide. You can inject this into injuries to try to heal faster, but you may not know that you can take this orally in pill form. This can improve your gut health. Perhaps he has IBS or some kind of bowel problem. This is something that is very intelligent, so happy to see him taking this.
Products that Transcend prescribed me to help me build muscle and help me reduce visceral body fat without having to be on testosterone or any other steroids at all.
And so while on a PCT, you can't take androgens, anabolic steroids, SARMs, because that will continue to keep your LH and FSH plummeted. But there are other things you can take to, in fact, increase your ability to build muscle. First on the list he's taking is tesamorelin and ipamorelin.
Tesamorelin is the king of growth hormone releasing peptides. Joins forces with ipamorelin to form an unparalleled synergy.
And so these peptides absolutely can increase IGF-1 levels, which help you to build muscle. It can increase ghrelin in the body, which is making you more hungry. And so following a competition, when it's very hard to stop eating, for many people, if they take this, they're going to gain a significant amount of weight. They're not able to control their appetite. And so if you are taking these, you can't control your hunger cravings. I got you covered. Coach Greg's cookbooks, of course, you knew it was coming, both available in PDF and hard copy. And so if you're taking peptides that can make you hungrier, although it can increase IGF-1 levels and build more muscle, you have to control your appetite. Interested in this? Code Greg, 10% off.
We have IGF LR3. This is a product that a lot of bodybuilders have really started to like to use in recent years.
And next up, IGF-1 LR3. I used to take this years ago. I haven't taken this for years, but I used to. And the best time to take this, at least in my opinion, is around the gym time. And I would do it in the selected body part that I'm training on that day. And so if you're training biceps, you could do it in the biceps. If you're training calves, you can do it in the calves. You should be taking it fasted. You shouldn't be taking this at the same time as eating a bunch of food. But oftentimes, many people are doing that. Consider the fact fact that people are often bulking, taking this, eating intra-workouts, pre-workout meals, post-workout, doing all kinds of force feeding. And so please be careful if consuming this with too much food.
And this is one of the few products that you can actually feel when you take it. Not only are you gonna feel fuller and rounder when taking this, but you're actually gonna experience better pumps in the gym too.
And one of the things you really notice when taking IGF LR3 is the increase in pumps at the gym. But if you're 100% natural, you can of course take pre-pump. This could of course increase your pumps. Also, you could take tadalafil, which is known as Cialis, in perhaps 5 or 10 milligrams. This is going to increase blood flow to all parts of the body, including the downstairs. And so you know what else can help with the downstairs? Harder than last time. You know what it's for. And so interested in this, of course, code Greg, 10% off. Another product that can dramatically increase your pumps, at least for me, I kid you not, is Turk Builder and or Ecti Builder. These supplements can make a huge difference in your ability to build muscle. If you don't believe me, give it a try. I double dog dare you. Code Greg, 10% off.
I'm going to be utilizing HGH, human growth hormone. This product works great in synergy with the IGF LR3 as well as the testosterone and ipamorelin.
HGH is next on his list, growth hormone. He's taking growth hormone, and so I get it. You're trying to build more muscle. But in men's physique, we're trying to keep the smallest waist. You don't want your bones to get bigger. You're trying to have delusion of looking bigger with the tiniest of tiny waists. And so I would not advise him to take growth hormone. Over the years, taking growth hormone, you can in fact get acromegaly or gigantism. Now, this is not going to happen most likely if you're not using abusive doses, but what bodybuilders are not using abusive doses? Perhaps for a man using 1 IU a day, perhaps can get away with that. For women, perhaps 1.3 IUs a day. But personally, I don't see it's beneficial. I am not using it myself. I believe that if you take growth hormone, you're borrowing from years ahead of you. I would prefer to live to be 90, perhaps not be as jacked as I am right now. I don't know for certain, but I don't believe that it's safe to take growth hormone for years. Now, if your doctor warrants that you need it, you're deficient in IGF-1, then absolutely by all means. I'm telling you honestly, I am not taking growth hormone. Many people say, your chest is red, you must be on it. I'm not taking it. Haven't taken it for several years, 5+. And so if I really thought growth hormone were that effective, I can afford it, why would I not be taking it? And so please use that advice to your own discretion. And so one thing you might want to consider is that growth hormone can in fact increase the growth of cancer cells. And so if you're potentially going to get cancer, for example, my sister has cancer, stage 4, and you're older, this is a very high risk. Think of it. If you're going to get cancer, if you have cancer cells, it speeds up the rate of development of those cancer cells. And so my advice, please be careful. It's not something that you can just think, oh, it's growth hormone, no big deal. It doesn't cause suppression of my LH and FSH, so I'm just going to take it in boatloads. There are very serious side effects that you may want to consider, and so don't just take growth hormone because your buddy said to take it. Also, you may want to consider that taking growth hormone can potentially increase your rate or risk of getting diabetes, and so that is often why people will take insulin to go along with their growth hormone. You need to be careful. This is not child's play. It's not simple. You can't just watch a simple Derek or Coach Greg video and think, oh, I got it. I'm going to take growth hormone. No problem. Please be careful. Go and seek out your doctor. And I am not your doctor. Mike Israetel, get it? I'm not your doctor.
Any of you guys are kind of in a similar boat that I'm in or have come off some recent shows, I encourage you guys to hit up Transcend, fill out an intake form, get your blood work done, and talk to a specialist.
And so Jeremy suggests you can hit Transcend. One thing I want to caution you is it's not cheap. If you're very poor, if you're a teenager, this is not for you. If you're a high-level athlete like Jeremy, of course, you can reach out to him, ask him what he's doing, ask him where he gets his products. Transcend is his main sponsor. And so if you want to get from Transcend, please be my guest, but please be cautious. Myself and Jeremy are not doctors. We're not professionals. We're giving you our best educated opinion. Please seek out your own professionals. Never break the law and always seek advice from your own doctor. Subscribe, click the bell button, comment to boost the algorithm, like this video if you liked it. Please tell me that you learned something, at least one thing in this video. Please add a comment if you can. Watch 2 of those 2 bloops. Watch them both. Of course, cookbooks, training books, coaching plans by me and my team. Even the Harder Than Last Time clothing line. You can get it all on the website. Free diet and training programs on the website. Please join the newsletter. Can you do that for me? And until next time, I am out.